If you have ever typed something like, "Where does the Quran talk about patience?" into a generic AI chatbot, got a confident answer, and then still felt the need to double-check it anyway, this video is for you. The problem is not using AI. The problem is using the wrong AI in the wrong order. Today I want to show you a safer Quran study workflow built around real Quran tools. Use Quran.com when you know the meaning, use tafsir and multiple translations to verify context, and use Tarteel when you remember the recitation but not the reference. This is for students, parents, teachers, Hifz students, and honestly anyone who has ever said, "I know the ayah is somewhere there, I just cannot find it right now." And one caveat right at the start. This is a study workflow, not a ThoughtWell workflow. If your question is about rulings, worship, halal and haram, finance, or theology, consult qualified scholars. AI can help you retrieve sources. It should not become your sheikh because it completed your sentence confidently. Here is the core idea. For Quran study, you usually have one of two problems. Problem 1, you know the idea, but not the exact wording or reference.
Problem 2, you know the sound of the recitation, but you cannot place the surah or ayah. Those are different problems, so they deserve different tools. First, if you know the meaning, start with Quran.com. Quran.com describes itself as a trusted platform used by millions worldwide to read, search, listen to, and reflect on the Quran in multiple languages, with translations, tafsir, recitations, and word-by-word tools for deeper study. And the separate Quran.ai project is useful supporting context here because its official page frames the goal as giving AI systems authentic, canonical access to the Quran, including text, translations, classical tafsir, and semantic search. That is the key word here, grounded. You are not asking a model to freestyle from memory. You are starting from a Quran source that is built for retrieval. So here is the practical move. Open the search page and type the meaning you actually have in your head. Something like patience and hardship, Allah does not burden a soul, or hearts find rest. You do not need to remember the exact Arabic, and you do not need to remember the surah number like you are sitting for an exam from 2009.
Once the relevant ayah shows up, do not stop there. This is where a lot of people get lazy. They find a verse that feels close enough, screenshot it, and move on like the job is done. No. Step 2 is verification. Open the verse page. Compare at least 2 translations if the phrasing matters. Then open the tafsir option and read the surrounding context. Ask, is this actually the ayah I meant? Is this general guidance, a specific story, a legal passage, or a verse people often quote without context? That one extra minute is where the workflow becomes trustworthy. It also makes your later use of AI much safer, because now if you do ask a chatbot to summarize the verse, build flashcards, or help you explain the vocabulary, you are pasting the exact ayah link into the conversation, instead of asking the model to guess the source. In other words, retrieval first, explanation second, source first, assistant second. Now, let us talk about the second problem. What if you do not know the meaning first? What if you remember the sound? Maybe you heard an imam recite an ayah in Taraweeh. Maybe your teacher recited part of a verse. Maybe you have a phrase stuck in your head, but you cannot spell it cleanly enough to search. That is where Tarteel becomes the practical companion. Tarteel's Help Center says its AI voice search lets you find and follow Quranic verses through recitation. It even describes a use case where you let Tarteel listen to an external recitation, so it can recognize and follow along with the verse being read. That is a very different job from semantic search. Quran.com helps when you know the meaning. Tarteel helps when you know the sound. And this is exactly why a lot of AI for Islam conversations feel confused. People talk as if one tool should do everything. In reality, the useful workflow is more like choosing the right lane on the highway. Also, practical note, Tarteel says free users get features like follow along and voice search, while premium unlocks the deeper memorization features like mistake detection, planning, history, and analytics. That is worth knowing before you assume every impressive demo is free. So here is the workflow in one sentence. If you know the meaning, use Quran.com to retrieve the ayah. If you know the sound, use Tarteel to locate it by recitation. Then verify the verse with translations and tafsir
before you let any general AI tool summarize, quiz, or organize your notes. That order matters. It protects you from the most common failure mode, which is not evil AI, it is boring AI. Confident paraphrase, fuzzy citation, close enough wording, wrong surah, right emotion, wrong source. That is the kind of mistake that spreads fast because it sounds almost correct. And for Muslim parents, teachers, and students, this is also the healthier way to introduce AI. Do not teach kids that AI is where Islamic truth comes from. Teach them that AI can help them search, organize, and practice, while the source still needs to be checked properly. That is a better literacy habit, and honestly, it is a better Islamic tech habit too. So my recommendation is simple. Save Quran.com for meaning-based search and verification. Keep Tarteel ready for voice-based search and recitation practice.
And if you use ChatGPT or any other general AI tool after that, paste the exact ayah or link first and use it for support tasks, not source generation. That one change will make your Quran study faster without making it sloppier. And again, final caveat, for rulings, disputes of interpretation, fiqh questions, or anything that affects what is halal, haram, or obligatory, take the source to qualified scholars. AI can help you get to the shelf. It is not the scholar standing at the shelf. If you want, I can make a follow-up on the best AI workflow for Quranic Arabic vocabulary next, because that lane also has demand, but the safety rule will stay the same. Ground the source first, then use AI carefully.